Today, Doña Ana officials addressed issues with county residents.
A lawsuit may halt an assessment exam that's been raising controversy across the state.
And NMSU might change the policy for free speech on campus.
News 22 starts now.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Stephanie Lane.
And I'm Greg Mallory. A packed house at the Doña Ana County held the annual State of the County address.
Many issues were addressed, including the proposed sales tax increase and the county treasurer scandal. News 22's Mar Gonzalez was there, and she has the latest.
Thanks, Stephanie. Commissioner Bill Garrett and Manager Julia Brown proposed bills that could improve the entire county. Take a look.
The Doña Ana County government is in good shape and moving in the right direction.
Even so, Commissioner Bill Garrett says the county needs more money, so he's pushing a 0.3% increase in the county gross receipts tax.
It would be most beneficial if we restricted its use to three purposes. The first one would be capital projects, the second one would be economic development, and the third one would be improving the efficiency of county operations.
He says the county is getting by, but says the tax increase will help it move ahead.
I think it's important that we do recognize who's paying the tax, and in this case it's everybody that would be living inside the county boundaries. That's one reason that I've also called for making sure that capital projects, for example, would be not just in the unincorporated parts of the county, but that some of the projects could be done with the incorporated areas.
Garrett's speech dealt mostly with the tax and what he hopes for the future. And for her first State of the County speech, County Manager Julia Brown spoke about economic improvements, specifically about the growth in Santa Teresa due to the expansion of Union Pacific Railroad.
It's been very big for the county. In fact, it's been very big for the state. The governor has made, no fewer than 7 or 8 trips down last year for groundbreakings, ribbon cuttings, to make announcements about new businesses coming in, about new jobs coming into the area.
But she spent most of her time criticizing County Treasurer David Gutierrez, who refuses to resign despite admitting offering $1,000 to a county employee in exchange for sex.
I want both our employee, our workforce, and the public to know about this despicable act, that the county does not condone this kind of behavior, and that when we learn of such a thing happening, that the county will do all that it is legally empowered to do.
She said the county needs to change its code of ethics so there will be a way to address sexual harassment issues if they're committed by an elected official. Right now, their hands are tied.
A small crowd protested in front of the county building, calling for Gutierrez to resign this morning. As for the gross receipts tax, the county commission plans to vote on it on Tuesday, March 24th. Reporting live, Mar Gonzalez, News 22. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Mar. The state legislation has been trying to close down the spaceport, but that's no longer the case. Due to tax support by Doña Ana and Sierra counties, the New Mexico Spaceport Authority will resume developing test flights later this year. Both counties have helped pay nearly $250 million to support the spaceport. A visitors gallery for the spaceport is also expected to open next month. Although some state lawmakers are tired of taxes paying for the facility, Commission Chairman of Doña Ana, Bill Garrett, says that it should benefit the entire state.
The Doña Ana County District Attorney's Office is now in charge of the investigation of an incident that left a Las Cruces man hospitalized. A federal lawsuit was filed last week that accused 2 Las Cruces officers of brutality against Ross Flynn. Attorneys claim Flynn was injured during a tussle with the officers inside a holding cell at the police station. Flynn was being booked on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, assault on a police officer, and resisting or obstructing a police officer. The district attorney's office is seeking help from Attorney General Hector Balderas and have also requested that state police conduct an independent investigation. The effort to recall 3 members of the Las Cruces City Council has come up short. A group calling itself New Mexicans for a Better Tomorrow wants to recall Olga Pedroza, Gil Sorg, and Nathan Small. There were about 300 short in Olga Pedroza's district and about 100 short in Gil Sorg's and Nathan Small's. The city clerk says hundreds of signatures are invalid for reasons ranging from being on the petition twice, not being able to read the signature, and not being registered to vote in that district. And about 50 people asked to have their names removed. The group is upset because the councilors support minimum wage and ceases. The group has 15 days to try to get enough signatures. They say they will try again. About 100 marchers crowded the sidewalks of East Lowman Saturday morning as Bishop Oscar Cantu spoke for March of the Crosses, a pro-life rally. The rally signals the halfway point of the 40 Days for Life campaign and described by organizers prayer and fasting for 40 days. The campaign took place near the Whole Women's Health Clinic where abortions are performed. Bishop Cantu told the protesters the New Mexico House passed 2 bills, one banning late-term abortions and another requiring parents to notify at least 48 hours before a minor terminates a pregnancy.
A legal challenge from a Washington-based testing company may halt the controversial assessment exam.
An exam that has been sparking school walkouts and anger from parents and teachers across the state. A Santa Fe judge is scheduled to hear arguments on Tuesday in an appeal by the American Institute for Research. The company is fighting against granting a potentially multi-year contract for Common Core testing to Pearson. AIR wants to limit Pearson's contract to a year. Pearson has contracted by states belonging to an association to administer the park. A change could have ripple effects beyond New Mexico. Tell you what, this park test has caused a lot of debate.
Definitely, especially all of the marches that the students have been doing.
Exactly. Well, Annalisa is next with a first look at weather.
Thank you, Greg. Well, it has been really warm in the city of Crosses. Let's take a look at what's happening right now. Our skies are clear outside. Our temperature stands at 66 degrees. Our winds are coming in at 5 miles per hour from the northeast. Our humidity is at 24 degrees. Our dew point at 29 degrees. And our barometer is almost at 30 inches. Now let's take a look at what type of temperatures we hit today. We hit a high of 70 degrees, 1 degree above our average of 69 degrees. Our low last night was at 37 degrees. Now for our record temperatures, back in 1989 today, we hit a high of 84 degrees, and back in 2013, we hit a low of 26 degrees. So far, no rain for today, and that brings us to our 1 inch and 1.5, almost 1.5 inches of rain for the year. That's all for your first look at weather. Stay tuned. I'll be right back with your national weather forecast. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Annalisa. Construction on the east side of Aggie Memorial Stadium will soon begin for the skybox approved by Regents. It will be roughly 2,000 square feet and include an exterior terrace. The skybox will provide space for entertaining university presidents and other guests. The facility is being funded by a $1 million donation by Stan Fulton, the owner of the Sunland Park Racetrack and Casino.
I think it just adds a little more to the atmosphere. If you just make it look a little more like a D1, big D1 school, you could bring in better football players and just have a better football team in general. Yeah, I'd definitely be attending all the football games.
Since Gary Carruthers became NMSU president in 2013, nearly all improvements to NMSU athletic facilities have been secured through private funding.
While NMSU is getting a facelift, the Board of Regents approved renovations to Jet Hall, Jet Annex, and Renfro Hall using funding from the General Obligation Bond, which was approved by voters last fall. Jet Hall and Jet Annex house different departments in the College of Engineering. The buildings were constructed in the 1950s with additions in the 1960s, but haven't seen any substantial renovations since that time. The approved renovations will cost approximately $17 million. Renfro Hall is the university's old gymnasium and also was constructed in the 1950s. It houses NMSU's growing department of human performance and dance. The project to renovate that facility will cost approximately $2 million.
And stay tuned, Annalisa will be back with your national forecast.
And later, free speech might be further extended on the NMSU campus. More on that when News 22 continues.
Additional funding for programs on KRWG-TV is provided by
Our customers always come first. Nights, weekends, even during a championship. El Paso Electric, your electric company.
Hi, I'm Paula Kruger. I hear from so many of you that watching great British dramas like Downton Abbey, Sherlock, and Call the Midwife is a wonderful escape from the stresses of daily life. You've told me they transport you to another time and place. Please, donate to this PBS station to keep these stories available for you and everyone, now and for generations to come. Support great drama. Support KRWG.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Tuesday,
where news matters.
A Las Cruces woman is facing charges of child abuse involving her 11-month-old grandson. 58-year-old Margaret Edmond has been indicted on several charges. She lived with her son, grandson, and the child's mother on East Picacho Road. Her son Manuel is facing charges including kidnapping, abuse of a child, and aggravated battery against a household member. He was arrested when his girlfriend, the mother of his child, reported that Manuel held her against her will and threatened to kill her. Las Cruces police reported an extreme odor of animal feces and urine in the home. They also found a digital video recorded that showed Edmond slapping the baby. The video shows the child spent most of each day in the crib. His constant companion was a pit bull who licked the baby's face and kept him company while playing with him. A former Santa Fe County Sheriff's deputy accused of killing another deputy may argue he acted in self-defense. Former Deputy Ty Chan is charged with murder and has pleaded not guilty. He's accused of shooting and killing 29-year-old Jeremy Martin last October after a night of drinking in Las Cruces. They were staying after transporting a prisoner. Chan's attorney says he needs employment and psychological records for the deputy who was killed because they'd be essential for a self-defense claim. Defense attorney John Day says he might argue that Martin had a proclivity to violence. The Sheriff's Department is fighting release of the records. It contends that the records are protected from inspection under New Mexico's public records law.
A man charged with a home invasion that turned fatal will have to wait another day before his trial starts. A judge has postponed the trial of Raymond Graces, who is accused of invading the home of mixed martial arts fighter Joe Torres on January 1st, 2014. Torres has not been charged with a crime. A new date for the trial has not yet been set. A Doña Ana County man is facing charges of raping a woman inside a senior living center. 26-year-old Peter Dylan Lucero is charged with kidnapping and criminal sexual penetration. Las Cruces police learned that on February 22nd, Lucero was at the Good Samaritan Society Living Center, possibly visiting a relative who lives there. Detectives say around noon, Lucero entered the room of a 50-year-old woman who suffers from multiple sclerosis and spends much of her time in a wheelchair. Police say he sexually assaulted the woman. Surveillance video helped police find the suspect. Detectives arrested Lucero on Saturday. He's in the Doña Ana County Jail under cash-only $50,000 bond.
Now, rape is never a laughing matter, but some politicians don't seem to understand that. During a hearing last week on legislation dealing with rape, Representative Kenny Martinez, a Democrat from Grant, said rape is defined in many ways and some of it's just drunken college sex. House Republican Caucus Chairwoman Kelly Fajardo said Martinez should apologize. Martinez says he won't and says Fajardo's comment was a publicity stunt. While Mr. Martinez had the right to say what he did, some say he's testing the limits of free speech.
Free speech is a concern on college campuses, and as Gabby Lopez reports, here at NMSU, a committee is looking into changing the free speech policy.
Most every student on campus has seen the preachers outside of Corbett Center. Under the Constitution, they have the right to speak their message, as unpopular as the message may be, said Police Chief Stephen Lopez.
Unless it is, again, like one of those fighting word exceptions, the police department will not get involved because that is a constitutional right. Just because it's offensive to somebody doesn't make it illegal.
While many believe that the Corbett area is the only free speech zone on campus, Lopez says that all outdoor areas are free speech zones and the university officials are working to expand them.
The new policy will allow, if it's adopted, free speech clearly within buildings.
The NMSU proposal is getting national attention as many universities are interested in adopting it. The free speech on campus issue blew up in the 1960s when students began to protest the Vietnam War. As former NMSU student and free speech radical Peter Goodman says, the matter would have been handled differently.
You would not have heard a police chief, unless it was a very rare one, 40 years ago, particularly here, saying anything like that. And you wouldn't have seen the collegial encounters that there were between Stephen and, say, Alan Dicker.
They say that the whole point is to help people have their say. And even though a speaker may draw an opposing crowd, he has every right to voice his message. Gabriela Lopez, News 22.
After voting last week to limit the amount of money from college scholarships financed by lottery proceeds, state senators now want to add a smaller pool of cash to the tuition fund. The Senate has approved a bill that would require forfeited lottery prizes to be transferred to the lottery fund. At the end of 2014, about $1.5 million was in the lottery's unclaimed prize pool. The annual average of unclaimed prizes during the past 5 years was double that at $3 million. The bill now moves to the House of Representatives. While the lottery fund is struggling at Doña Ana, County Sheriff's Department has started a campaign to raise scholarship money for local high school and college students. Deputy J. Mar Cotton says his goal is to raise $2,000 by May 1st. He may get a lot stronger in the process. For every $10 raised, he will do 10 push-ups. Donations can be made in person at the Doña Ana County Sheriff's Department or to Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity. Annalisa is next with the weather.gov national forecast.
Thank you, Greg. Let's take a look at what's happening across the country. We do have a pattern change in the jet stream that's looming over the U.S. That pattern change was southward for the past 3 weeks, bringing in all that moisture to the northeast, but that has shifted northward, bringing in warmer weather for those areas, especially for the North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana area. But don't put away your winter coats yet, because March is known for their wild swings in temperatures. Now let's take a look at the northeast to see how that pattern change has affected that area. Finally, they're getting a break from all that wintry weather. They are getting high temperatures in the 60s tomorrow in the NYC, DC area, but they are going to have a press of chill air coming in from the north that is going to dip their temperatures in the 30s and 40s. Now let's take a look at the south. We do have a low pressure coming in from the Gulf Coast that's going to bring a wave of thunderstorms across the south into the Ohio and Tennessee Valley for the following week. Now let's take a look at our high temperatures across the country. As you can see, it's much milder and much warmer because of that pattern change in that jet stream. Lubbock at 70 degrees, St. Louis at 70 degrees as well, Detroit at 54, and Boston at 50 degrees. That's all for your national weather forecast. Stay tuned. I'll let you know if we have rain in your local weather.
Join me, Rick Steves, for an adventure through 3 of Europe's most happening cities, Amsterdam, Prague, and Berlin. It's an adventure you don't want to miss in my latest travel special, Dynamic Europe.
Thursday at 7 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Pack your bags, ladies and gentlemen. Go and bring the world to Selfridges.
Celebrate the thrilling world of Mr. Selfridge as we revisit the first 2 seasons and explore the rise of the American merchant, his infamous store, and the drama held behind its walls.
No gentleman treats a lady like that in my store.
Season 3 has a lot to look forward to, and we have an exclusive sneak peek right here in Mr. Selfridge, a celebration.
Thursday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at our New Mexico Now temperatures. As you can see, much warmer across the Enchanted State. Farmington at 58 degrees, Clovis at 59, Ruidoso, usually chilly, is at 48 degrees, which is not bad. Las Cruces at 65 degrees and Deming 66 degrees. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's high temperatures across the states. Santa Fe at 63, Albuquerque really warm at 68 degrees, Clovis at 69, Las Cruces and Deming 71 degrees tomorrow. Now let's take a look at some cities near Las Cruces, sorry about that. Tonight, a low of 28 degrees in Alamogordo, clear skies. Tomorrow, clear skies as well, sunny with a high of 68 degrees. For T or C tonight, clear skies as well. 41 degrees is their low. Tomorrow, a high of 72 degrees. Clear skies as well. Now for Silver City, a low of 36 degrees. Clear skies. Tomorrow, a high of 66 degrees. Clear skies and sunny weather. Now for Las Cruces, tonight, a low of 40 degrees. Clear skies. Tomorrow, nice and sunny with a high of 70 degrees. Now, do we have any rain in our next 5 days? I'll let you know with your 5-day forecast later on in the show. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Annalisa. The FBI is investigating the firebombing of a KFC restaurant.
And here's Alexandria Espinoza with tonight's Southwest Minute.
They say it could be a case of domestic terrorism. Workers arrived Monday morning to find a broken window and a Molotov cocktail thrown inside. Scrolled across the drive-thru menu was ALF, a reference to an extremist animal rights group called the Animal Liberation Front. The ALF website accuses the company of animal cruelty violations. Firefighters came to the rescue at an apartment fire in Los Angeles Monday night. A woman and 2 children, including a baby, made it out safely. About 40 firefighters responded to the blaze. The fire is under investigation. And an Albuquerque company is gaining national attention for a shirt encouraging parents to get their kids vaccinated. Carson and Karen Bennett created the shirt for their company, Tiny Torsos. They initially sold just 4 or 5 shirts online, but the sales took off after a recent measles outbreak. For each shirt sold, they donate $1 to raise awareness on the importance of vaccinating your kids. This is Alexandria Espinoza with the Southwest Minute.
And Samantha Lewis is next with sports.
Thanks, Greg. Coming up in sports, we'll say farewell to a few senior ballers and take a look at what former baller made it to the Aggie Hall of Fame. You could toss that remote because News 22 Sports is next.
Dr. Michael Roizen is back, this time giving you a second chance to turn your health around.
You can get a do-over. That's right, this is your do-over. Too long we've gotten it wrong with stress. You can outsmart any excuse.
Learn how you can change your habits, reverse the damage, and get a new start regardless of your age or health.
Sunday at 8 a.m. on KRWG-TV.
The Welk musical family tells Lawrence Welk's story, from the beginning to a national sensation in the 1950s through the mid-80s, and on public television for over 25 years. Lawrence Welk's TV Treasures.
Sunday at 4 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. I'm Samantha Lewis. Let's dive into sports. Over 12,000 Panamaniacs came to watch the last home game and say farewell for senior night. Saturday, NM State defeated Chicago State in a nail-biting 61-57 game. In a bittersweet end, the senior managers and basketball players were honored for senior night. They were all given memorabilia for their hard-working years on NMSU court, and each of them expressed their gratitude for Las Cruces. The Aggies will be heading to Sin City tomorrow for the WAC tournament. The U.S. Bank and NMSU Athletic Hall of Fame inducted its newest member this past weekend. The Las Cruces Catholic School principal Connie Lyman was inducted into the Hall of Fame on senior night at the Aggie basketball game. Lyman is no stranger to the court, as she's an all-time assists leader for the women's basketball here at NM State with a total of 531 assists. She is the 14th female out of 100 inductees to be chosen for the NM State Hall of Fame. Lyman finished her career at NM State with 448 points, 538 assists, 178 steals, and 250 rebounds. The Centennial Hawks are advancing to the Class 5A quarterfinals after surviving a scare from the Capital Jaguars this past Saturday. The Jags started off aggressive against the Hawks, leading for the most of the first quarter, but the Centennial took over third quarter on a 28-19 lead as they were running a 3-2 zone defense. In the final 8 minutes, Capital hit 3 three-pointers, catching up to Centennial and managing to place themselves in the position to tie or take the lead. But the Hawks block a three-point attempt by the Jags, beating them 46-43. The Hawks advance to the 5A quarterfinals at the Pit in Albuquerque, where they are looking to continue their 13-game winning streak against the Bernalillo High Spartans. The Lady Aggies softball team skipped lunchtime today to take on Middle Tennessee. This would be the first meeting between these two teams in 10 years. NM State was in charge of the game early on as they led 5-1 headed to the 7th inning. However, Middle Tennessee would come up to score 5 runs in the 7th inning, and they would take the lead 6-5 as well as the victory. With this loss, NM State snaps their 10-game winning streak. The Lady Aggies are 18-8 on the season and will head to sunny San Diego, California this Friday to take on Long Beach State. Now don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
He was the world's first international recording superstar. Enrico Caruso took popular songs from the streets of Naples to the world's grandest stages. Join Italian tenor Pasquale Esposito on a journey highlighting the life, the places, and the music of Enrico Caruso.
Sunday at 8:30 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Celebrate the thrilling world of Mr. Selfridge as we revisit the rise of the American merchant, his infamous store, and the drama behind its walls. Season 3 has a lot to look forward to, and we have an exclusive sneak peek right here in Mr. Selfridge, A Celebration.
Sunday at 7 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
And Annalisa, a check at the 5-day weather for us.
Well, it is going to be warm for the next 5 days for the most part. We do have a 61% chance of precipitation on Friday with a high of 70 degrees and a low of 44 degrees. And on Saturday, we have a high of 68 degrees, a low of 39 degrees, and we have a 40% chance of precipitation. Thursday, we are going to be partly cloudy, and for the rest of the week, we are going to be sunny.
Sounds like that'll work.
That sounds nice.
And that's all for News 22 Tuesday. Thank you everyone for joining tonight. I'm Greg Mallory.
I'm Stephanie Elaine.
And I'm Annalisa Carrion.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.